Meet Renee, Kathy, and Wayne. Renee and Kathy are recovering prostitutes. Wayne is a recovering pimp. What they will tell you is that prostitution is an addiction like any other. That's their belief. And after many failed attempts to quit prostitution and pimping, they were only able to succeed with a 12-step program called Prostitutes Anonymous. Also here are Rose and Susan, who are currently working as prostitutes. They don't think prostitution is an addiction. Drugs, maybe. And they do believe that the life beats slinging hash from 8 to 5. And they say it's fine for Renee, Kathy, and Wayne to quit, but don't expect them to do the same. Renee, start from the... you were 19 when you began.
I was 19 when I began.
You were a waitress, were you?
Well, I was cocktail waitressing at a nightclub that was a front for many escort services, and when I saw the Rolls Royces and the $1 million on the bank accounts, it got my attention. And it wasn't like the movies portrayed it, so... And it was true. You know, for many years I worked, I made a lot of money, I was happy, I had nice clients, never got busted, never used drugs, never got beat up. But I was very, very suicidal because I couldn't quit. There was something in me that knew this was wrong. I had a lot of shame behind this. I didn't fit with normal society. I stopped even going to movies because I felt that people knew what I was doing.
When you say you were hooking, this wasn't street, was it?
I actually did the hooking part for a very brief time because there wasn't the money in that there was in matamine and pornography. And,
so you sort of became an entrepreneur then?
Yes, I became quite an entrepreneur.
And you had how many women working for you then?
When they finally did arrest me in '85, I hit the news as the high-tech madam. I had 3 escort services, 2 phone sex services, a couple massage parlors. You know, they said I had 30 phones, and I was sitting in jail going, no, I don't. And I started counting, and I said, oh, yes, I do. Yeah. I lost track.
Did you produce porno movies as well?
I produced them, yes.
You weren't in them, you produced them.
No, I wasn't in them. There was more money in making them again.
Right. But you sound like a very bright kind of woman who...
I have a genius IQ.
Really?
I was in a special program for geniuses when I was young.
Well, that probably explains why I understand you so well. So you're in the slammer, and you're saying, who am I? And you get out and what?
Well, the hard part was that for 5 years, I really wanted to quit. And when I tried to seek help, all I kept finding was drug programs. And I didn't fit there. I didn't take drugs. And it interfered with my business. And I kept searching for help for what I was doing. And there wasn't anything. It wasn't even a support group. So when I was in jail, I did the same thing. I went to the rehabilitation counselor, the chaplain. I said, I'd really like to quit. Do you have anything that can help me? Because I can't do it on my own. I tried on my own. And they just looked at me and gave me some numbers of some drug hotlines. And again, that's why Prostitutes Anonymous is in existence, is because it's a very underserved community. For the men, there's not even any services. There's battered women's shelters, there's rape hotlines for women, but the male prostitutes and pimps that are in our organization, Prostitutes Anonymous is all they have.
Right. The addiction is the fast money.
It's different for every member, but the bottom line is that we can't stop.
That's so, is it, Kathy?
Yeah, that's right.
You're a member of Prostitutes Anonymous.
I started through, I had been clean and sober off of drugs for about 3 years, and I found myself back out on the streets clean and sober. So for me, it wasn't the drugs, it was the prostitution that I was addicted. It wasn't the, I can get a fix. It was, I have control over these guys when I'm out there. I tell them how long, how much, and when. And that was the fast life that I was addicted to. And when I found Prostitutes Anonymous, it changed my life.
By the time I was out of jail, I was off drugs. I was clean for about 3 years, and for some reason decided to try prostitution again.
Well, for me, it's a disease. And for me, it was always a solution. My story is a lot different from Renee's. I was out on the streets for 13 years, hardcore. I was in the movies. I had the pictures taken. I did everything, okay? I danced.
When you're in the street, you get in the car, you go around the block, and it's $20, isn't that right? I mean...
Maybe for you, but not for me. No, to be honest with you, if you
This used to be such an easy job. You asked your questions, you went home. Did you mean to suggest that $20 was...
It wasn't enough for me.
You made a lot more than $20.
Oh, yeah, because I used to say to them, look, I'm not your average, everyday, ugly girl out there. I'd
You
say,
had your
I'm
pride,
blonde,
did you? Yeah.
and my prices were $50 for a half an hour and $100 for an hour. If they didn't want to do it, that's all right.
Yeah, you said you were blonde. Blonde's
I am
premium.
blonde.
Meaning that's a premium hooker, is it, a blonde?
Well, let me tell you something. When you're out there and you've been shooting heroin for 10 years, okay, your teeth fall out, okay, you don't take a bath, your hair falls out, and you don't look so good, okay. But when I was clean and sober, I was healthy, fat, and I looked good. Okay, so that was the difference between this down hardcore street hooker who was out there and the one who was still sick and sober out there.
But did you hook for drugs? Obviously, huh?
Oh, and previously, yeah, I had been out there for 13 years, heroin and cocaine.
Right.
That's my
May I
choice.
ask you how old you are now? You don't have to tell us.
31,
And you started hooking at age?
18.
And you started drugs at age?
I never even had sex with a man before I started hooking.
You lost your virginity as a hooker. And what age?
Not like it is.
Oh, okay. What age did you start using?
19. What happened was I did a geographical cure. I went from the Atlantic Ocean to the Pacific Ocean saying, you know what, I can't, I had started doing pot and drinking and everything, and I thought if I came out to the West Coast that my life would change, and it was just another place. And I fell back into the same things. I got fired at McDonald's. I said, you know what, I know where to make some real money, okay? And I went downtown, and a guy offered me $50, and that's all it took.
So that has to. Gambling is about money.
Oh yeah.
So
It's a risk,
so
it's a
must the
gamble.
addiction to hooking be.
Oh yeah.
Quick, easy now. Who needs
You're in control. You don't. It's not a 9-to-5 job. That's what I used to tell myself. See, what most people don't understand, and this is a counterculture. When you guys are out there working 9 to 5, slaving away at your jobs, we're sleeping, okay?
Yeah.
And then when you guys are sleeping, we're up and out there, okay? Because in my opinion, we're sick people. We're not bad girls getting good. We're sick girls getting well.
It's
or
not
men.
always about money at all.
It's not always
the
about
addiction
money.
can be to many other factors. There are other
emotional
members.
and all kinds of
There are
complicated.
many other
Very
prostitutes
good.
in Prostitutes Anonymous. They're addicted to sex. Some feel that they're addicted to shopping. Some feel they're addicted to the attention. I've known prostitutes that quit prostitution. This is why we talk about recovery. They quit prostitution, but then they start giving it away to everybody in town because they need the attention.
Is there a power trip on this too?
Oh, absolutely.
Tell me.
Well, for me, it's been different for every member of Prostitutes Anonymous, but for me, I felt a large sense of control when I could walk into any store I wanted and buy whatever I wanted and order the sales help around. And
Oh, so
you
it's
know,
not about control of men.
You know, I prided myself on the difficult calls. When you're going on a call where you make $2,000 to one client, you have a very difficult client, one that could possibly kill you. And
The
I had-
higher the price the client, the more endangered you
absolutely,
are.
the more danger that there is.
You say yes to
You're
that.
dealing with politicians, famous people. You could disappear
And you got to
in a
watch
second.
famous people; they'll really
Well,
jerk
they
you
feel
around.
they
a little.
watch you and that they can do whatever they want with you. See, it's
Look at
two
Mike Tyson.
mentalities, okay?
Really?
You feel like you're renting me. This is what time it is. Okay, let's go. Put the cigarette down, and when it's out, honey, you're over with. And they're looking at it like, hey, I spent this much money. You're going to do what I want, and they get crazy if they don't feel like they're getting.
And famous people know that who are the police going to believe, them or you?
And I'll tell you what, the police aren't going to do anything about it. They're going to let the John go, and they're going to arrest the hooker.
Almost always.
99.
And did the demands become more complicated and more sick?
Yeah. Well, for me, this is really
But you don't
raunchy.
always have to do it. You can walk out.
You
Oh,
can
you
walk
want to
up.
hear the raunchy part? Huh? I'm just kidding.
Well, I for one would rather not hear it.
You don't want to hear it.
Well, I got to come back tomorrow. I'd like to keep my job too, you know. Well, okay, it's not funny though, is it? And
No, it's
you're here
not
to say,
funny.
when did you get clean, Kathy?
I got clean in 87.
Off drugs?
July 13th, I'll have 5 years. Clean and sober.
Well. Right. Now, after you got clean, did you still feel
I still had the obsession to use. I mean,
No, I mean hooking.
I mean,
Of
that's
course
what I
you-
say use.
Oh,
to hook.
I
I
see.
mean, to
Same
me,
thing.
it's
All
the
right.
same thing for us.
Yeah.
You know, addiction is addiction. But for me, what it was I kept compromising myself, and I'd compromise myself more and more and more until there was no more me left.
I don't understand what the obsession is. Is it for just you want attention from a man that you can't get from just going out? Or is it the sex
Well,
part of
you know
the attention?
something, even among the members, there was a huge confusion when we started Prostitutes Anonymous because there were a lot of fights about just exactly that question. What we agreed upon is our first step for us is that we're powerless over our addiction. Anything connected with the sex industry, we see too often they quit prostitution, they go into anatomy, which is what I did. Or they quit the business and they get into porno. There's a lot of switching going on. So for us, being addicted, there's all the symptoms. There's the withdrawal, there's the denial, the rationalization, the life-threatening elements of our addiction. And for us to quit, we have to completely pull out of it. And what happened is we went to the Library of Congress and found out that nowhere in the world is there a book on how to heal yourself from the sex industry. So we wrote our own, and a lot of those issues are addressed in that book, our Prostitutes Anonymous book.
You alone?
No. Anyone that has long-lasting recovery from this industry, not just quitting. I'll give you an example. There was a man that was in prostitution from the time he was 12 years old. He was out of it for 5 years, and he still acts like a prostitute and a pimp, and he still has a lot of destruction in his life because of that. So that there has to be a recovery process for us.
Yes.
My question to either one of the prostitutes is Prostitutes Anonymous, but what do what is the big thrill you get out of it? Is it sexual? Is it
We become addicted to
rewarding?
thrills.
Or and then aren't you afraid of diseases,
Can I just
really?
try? Yes, you must
We
be.
can't stop ourselves.
Well, let me tell you something. When the alcoholic, let me give you an example. When the alcoholic has a liver problem and he's got pancreatitis, is he worried about his liver falling out? No, all he wants is his next drink. And it's no different. It's the same process. When we're out there, are we worried about AIDS?
But
Are we
even
worried
as it-
about some guy killing us? It's not that. It's just that you're thinking about the next date, the next money.
And
No.
in denial, we tell ourselves it won't happen to us until sometimes it does.
Yeah. I accept and respect your point that it's not always about money.
No.
But if you're if you're in a uniform in a service industry at minimum wage for 8 hours a day, turning hamburgers over or, taking the French fries out of the oil.
I'll give you an
Now,
example.
if I just make this point, when you get the check at the end of the week and you see what's taken off for the taxes and you're left with this much, if you made twice that much in one night, I don't know whether we should be surprised that some people would be moved to go right back to the quick dollar.
Well, this is part of what for us, not all prostitutes. Let me finish. I spent more money than I made when I was in the business. Now that I work a straight job, 9-to-5 job, I keep my money. I actually have more money now because I'm not out blowing it at the mall every day.
We have mentioned that we have a former street pimp, who's also a member of Prostitutes Anonymous. He is not surprised at all by what we've heard from Renee and Kathy, and we'll have him tell his own story. And then we will also talk with a prostitute and a madam who are still in the business, think it ought to be legalized, want you to know that they feel, a lot of healthy, happy, well-balanced people in the world's oldest profession. And we'll be back in just a moment.
A striped toothpaste that fights tartar? Come on.
That's the way I like it.
I need proof it works.
That's the way I like it.
So I asked our dentist about Aquafresh.
Those Aquafresh stripes really fight. Aquafresh with powerful fluoride fights cavities, fights plaque, and fights ugly tartar. All concentrated in the only toothpaste striped to fight.
It works. They like it. I'll buy it.
Aquafresh, the one they like is striped to fight.
I like it.
Good morning, birthday girl.
Don't remind me. I hope no one finds out.
It's our secret.
Introducing Pond's Foaming Cleanser and Toner in one. It deep cleans and helps tighten pores to bring out your natural radiance.
And this birthday wish goes out to Deborah Palmer from a secret admirer. You are so
Pond's, it brings out your natural radiance.
Wayne, stand by for a second while I chat with Rosa here. Was a street prostitute, has been for the past 10 years. I think I have your permission, Rosa, to tell this audience that you are a heroin addict. You got in because you like the easy money, huh?
Well, it's the fast money to get well quick. You know, to get your drugs in a hurry so you start feeling better quickly.
You'd like this audience to know that most hookers are drug addicts.
They are. I'd say about 95% of them.
Huh. So if you want a woman to, jump through hoops when you snap your finger, get her addicted.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And then she'll have no choice really but to go out and take on whatever.
Yeah,
the
they'll
pimp.
go, $10, $15, just so they can get well.
Do you have a pimp, Rosa?
No.
You work by yourself?
Yes, I do.
Do you do street corners?
Do I do what?
Street corners?
Yeah.
You do. You must. You gotta. You work here in the city?
No, I'm from San Diego.
Do you have your neighborhoods that you're?
Yeah. Yeah, you have your certain areas that you work at where all the guys come to and drive around.
And then they take you to a motel, a house?
A motel or the car, or you go to, a house or whatever.
And how long would you be obliged to spend with your John?
However long it takes for him to be satisfied.
And you establish price right away, huh?
Mm-hmm.
And I assume you have various prices.
Yeah.
Depending on the time and etc.
Mm-hmm.
Do they ever ask you to go to dinner?
Yeah.
Do they ever tell you you're beautiful?
Yeah.
I see. Do they ever tell you that my wife doesn't understand me?
Oh, I hear all kinds of stories, believe me.
Yeah.
They all do.
Yeah.
You hear the things I hear.
Right. It is not untrue to say, is it, Rosa, that you're an addict right now?
Yes, I am.
And you feel a little strung out right now, don't you?
Yes, I do.
I see. So when you're feeling strung out, and if you don't have any money, you'll go out and make whatever it takes to make your buy. Is that right?
That's right.
And and heroin is your drug of choice? I shouldn't say choice. You don't have the choice, do you?
Well, I'll tell you what. I was on a drug program, a methadone program, and I was doing very well. And I was short $80 on a payment. It was because I was late on a payment. They wanted 2 weeks in advance. And because I was late, they were going to kick me off. And I practically begged them and cried with them. I'm using on the streets. Please don't kick me off the program. Please, please. And they didn't care. That was their exact words. We don't care if you're using on the streets.
Right. How old are you, Rosa, may I ask?
36.
Rosa, you do look tired, but beyond that, you've kept it together pretty well. Not to patronize you, I'm just trying to figure this out here. You don't look like the run-over drug addict face that we're accustomed to seeing. And I think you have all your teeth and your body's still together.
Yeah.
This isn't funny. I mean, so far, yeah. So what is your hope and dream here, Rosa?
See, you're gonna find this surprising, but I sometimes pray to get busted.
You'd like to get arrested?
Yeah, it would take me off of it, and then I'd come out clean, and I would never touch it again. I know I wouldn't this time.
So you're from the neck up. You're committed. It's this urge that you can't overcome. Yeah. You also you speak well, and again, I want to be careful here. Doesn't mean that you're not a good person if you don't speak well, but I say this because it seemed to me that you had a very normal kind of middle-class upbringing and education. Is that so? Did you graduate from high school?
Yeah, I graduated from high school.
You did not go to college?
No.
But you never were the dumbest kid on the block.
No, I wasn't the dumbest. I wasn't the smartest either.
Right. So, well, what happened? How'd this go? How'd this happen? A nice girl like you?
Well, my father, he told me I did my job when I got out of high school, got me an apartment in Hollywood, and he said, go support yourself. So I was walking down the street one day, Hollywood Boulevard, and some guy stops and offers me some money, and I go with him, and it's boom, boom, so quick, and I got the money, and just going out there a few times, again and again, before I knew it, I had $500 saved up.
How old were you when this was going?
17.
And now you didn't lose your virginity with that guy in the front seat, did you? No.
No.
17. I see. So you didn't have a Norman Rockwell kind of middle American house then, did you?
No, I didn't.
And it sounds like a father, tough love, you go make it on your own type of guy?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
You have brothers and sisters?
No.
You got you an apartment in Hollywood?
Yeah. Over there, right on Normandy, between Hollywood Boulevard and Sunset.
So this would have
Pretty
been,
bad area.
this is about 17, 18 years ago, 19. And you're walking down, did you have a short skirt on? I mean, you weren't...
No, as a matter of fact, I had blue jeans on.
Phil, let me tell you something. When I quit the business, I gained a lot of weight, obviously. I had gone up 100 pounds. I cut off all my hair. It was brown. I had glasses on. Because I was in no make. I was trying not to look the part anymore. I still had men waving $100 bills under my nose. One thing that's not addressed is the clients are sex addicts. And there's another fellowship for that. And prostitutes are like their drug. And they will go out and go up to anybody and proposition them, regardless of what they look like. And the money thing that we're talking about, it is what, very, very few prostitutes actually are business-like about this, that are happy with it, put their money in the bank. A lot of it goes into drugs or shopping or any other kind of addiction, actually.
But hers went into drugs.
That's what I'm saying. You talk about the money, but where did it go? So it's not really the money.
Well,
that
at first,
we're
it didn't go
talking about.
towards drugs.
At first.
Mm.
17. Well.
And let's not confuse the issue.
Well,
I
but
mean,
where is she
doctors and
going to
lawyers
go
take
now?
drugs.
Where does this... Here is a white woman.
But doctors and lawyers take drugs. I don't want to mix in the drugs with
I do.
prostitution.
I know that. But the point is, in a racist society, it's bad enough if you're a minority. Are we to assume that you don't have the funds to knock on a rehab door? I don't know. I'm wondering about that.
Yeah, I do. But like I said, it's like it has to be forced upon me to go to jail, and that's the only way it's going to happen.
Last night we asked her if she would like a recovering addict to go see her and go to a meeting, or if she wanted to go get some methadone. And she made her choice to go get methadone.
Yeah.
We tried to help her last night as best we could because she is in a lot of pain from the kicking. It was not easy on her to make this trip. Kicking.
Oh,
We
kicking.
call it kicking the drugs.
As in withdrawal, kicking.
Yeah.
But Phil, this is a problem in any profession.
It is.
Yes,
Doctors and
Susan,
lawyers
you're a
do it.
madam, and you have 5 women working for you right now. We'll talk with you in just a moment. Do I understand, Rosa, that you'd like to leave? You're that uncomfortable?
Yeah, I am.
Okay, well, quite obviously, let's just make this point, and just in advance of your leave-taking here, Rosa. You are the face on a very, very large underground industry in America. And yes, we do have a lot of politically active hookers out there now saying, stop the pretense, put your Bibles away, this is none of your business, I'm a big girl, I can make my own decisions. Against that civil liberty speech, we have Rosa, and we can only wonder about the numbers of other women who are out there, strung out, totally addicted to drugs, and have no way to meet the habit than to raise the money by performing a lot of degrading behavior for cash-paying customers. You wanted to say.
There were 3 other women supposed to come on this show that were still in the business. One got busted, another one got too strung out on drugs, the third one got busted too.
So we have 2 in jail.
The rates are very much against people in this profession.
That's another question you might want to ask yourself. How many cops you want to hire? How many people you want to bust? And if you're going to bust these women, do you want to bust the Johns as well?
But it might be the best favor you could ever do for them.
The problem is, into what empty jail cell are you going to put all these new prisoners?
Busting's what got me out of the business. Sometimes it's the
Yes,
biggest
it
favor.
did. And Rosa's already calling, asking for that. Rosa, let me thank you in advance now before our show ends, because you're entitled to leave. No law says you got to stay here, but we do. Did you want to ask her something? What?
Don't you have any family? No friends that aren't users or prostitutes?
All my friends are users and prostitutes. I do have some that aren't, but they don't really accept me.
It's not safe to have friends outside this business. It's not. When you're in the business, that's who your friends are, which is another reason why I wanted to quit. I got tired of pimps and tricks in my life.
No, that's not true for everybody.
Someone to care for you, to help you out.
No, I'm on my own.
And we'll be back in a moment.
part of the audience, please send a postcard to Donahue Tickets, care of NBC, 30 Rockefeller Plaza, New York, 10112. Remember, postcards only, please.
Wayne, let's talk here. First of all, nothing's said so far you haven't heard before, I'm sure. You're a former street pimp. You're a member of Prostitutes Anonymous. Tell us, Wayne, how's this hit the guys?
In what way did I get it?
Well, I mean, what made you, you want out of this?
Well, what made me want out of it was that I got tired of the meaningless, painful life I was living, inflicting pain and misery on those around me in the pursuit of being paid.
Yeah. In their pursuit of being paid?
Me being paid.
You being paid. What kind of pain did you have to?
Psychological, physiological.
A pimp has to be a commanding presence, doesn't he?
Yes.
And do I understand you as you gotta kind of snarl at the girls, as you call them? Is that so?
Well, some people snarl or consider grim pimps. Some people just talk persistently, just lay out the groundwork.
Control the girls.
Motivation. The basic thing is motivation.
Get out there and bring in the money.
And to bring it back. That's what's important.
And does this involve threats and a lot of?
Well, fear can only work in the presence of the person. The person has to be confident you're going to do something worthy with the money. Some guys work with fear, but fear only works in face to face.
Right.
But if she goes out across town, why should she come back if she's going to get jumped on? So mine wasn't by fear; it was by persuasion.
I assume you have to keep score too. Who's out and who brought it back and who didn't, and you've got a list. I don't know. Is this so? I mean, this is a strange world you lived in, Wayne.
They organized it.
This was Wayne's world, we should say.
I didn't have to keep no charts.
Charts.
I didn't have to keep no charts, no list, no written down. When a person goes out, like they go out for the evening, they go out to get paid. As they make so much money, they come back. If something happens, they come back. I might go check on them and see if anything happens during that time. Take a break, have dinner, have lunch, whatever. We talk, we play, go back to work.
Yeah, but there's a lot of negative in this. I mean, did you have to berate them, and did you yell at them? I am asking. I don't want.
Well, you yell at. It depends on the type of women you're around. You have the type. Some women are motivated by fear and violence, But as you get older, as I get older, when I first started out like a cowboy, violent, like gorilla, pimp, or whatever you want to call it. You jump up, say it once, get hit in the jaw. It's very simple, But as you get older, you find out that violence brings on other violence to yourself, where the girls will cross you themselves, get you set up by,
One thing that's
other
not being
guys.
addressed here, is the fact that there are people, in doing the research for the book we put together, I found there are a lot of people held hostage in this business that are not doing it voluntarily or not even seeing a dime of it.
You said, is that so, Wayne?
Oh, there are people, I mean, it's really like no one, like you can say you're holding somebody captive. If you're in a house, locked down, you're held captive. But the minute you hit the streets, I mean, if you want to go, you can go. I mean, if you're brainwashed and thinking like I can find you anywhere, then you want to believe that story.
So you said enough of this. I don't like myself. I'm getting out of here. Incidentally, were you always clean?
Clean.
Drugs?
No, what happened was I wasn't a drug addict at first. The lifestyle turned me into like a drug addict. Actually, I guess, dealing with the misery I inflicted on people.
Yeah.
So put the ice in my game, make heartless, I started using drugs.
Were you a dude pimp with the Cadillac and the top down and all that stuff, or is that just a storybook stuff?
Well, I had a few cars, Cadillac, I ride around limousines, but
Really?
But my big thing was clothes and jewelry, and nice places to stay, because the flashy cars get you busted, followed around by the police.
I see.
If I wasn't much into that,
Yeah. No, you don't want to. Saying arrest me, here I am.
Yeah.
So you must have had to get clean before you went to Prostitutes Anonymous, huh?
Yeah, I got clean. I guess I was also a drug dealer too for many years, and
you're lucky you're walking around here, Brother Wayne.
I've been hurt. I've been shot, stabbed, half to death.
Now you sit around with a lot of women in a room talking about this business you were in, and that you're glad you're out in this Prostitute Anonymous situation.
Well, I sit around a few women. I'm in a different part of the country. I correspond with people on the phone.
You started out in our Los Angeles group. More than half of Prostitutes Anonymous is men, both gay, heterosexual, pimps, porn actors. It's very varied. There are just as many men as women, but he had a lot of problems in Los Angeles because of his history in the police, so he moved out to Philadelphia to get out of under that pressure.
I just want to point out that there's very few meetings right now. There was no meetings in San Diego when I started the first one, so...
No Prostitutes Anonymous
It's growing.
meeting.
It's only 4 years old.
Right.
It's
We
very
still
young.
have
It's
to talk
growing
with...
rapidly, but it's not like in every city yet. We're working on it.
We'll talk with the madam in just a moment.
It's just such gentle landscape and cornfields. I was very nice, I must say.
Tamara Pearson's.
You can drink more milk.
I believe it's Renee. Renee, where are you employed at now?
Yeah.
I believe it's Renee. Renee, where are you employed at now?
I work as a paralegal now. I took some training courses. I still like money, so I took some training courses, and now I do what the attorneys do.
I was just wondering, have any of you three women become emotionally attached to any of the men that you have been with?
I had a very difficult time because the man I was involved in the business liked me being in the business, and I kept relapsing behind a lot of him being used to that. So I finally had to get rid of him to quit.
Yeah.
How do you feel about legalized prostitution?
Let me just, you don't like the idea.
Well, I just want to say one thing about that. I really don't think it should be legalized because, in my opinion, it's a disease and it's telling somebody, take your own life in your own hands and get yourself killed.
Susan.
But when I feel like, just one thing, I think it should be decriminalized because Renee and I would like to form a halfway house for recovering prostitutes where they could come to our house instead of jail.
And we can't find any kind of fund for that.
Yeah. Susan, here we go. You're a madam. You have 5 women working for you. And you bring a different perspective to this discussion. Why don't you tell us how you feel?
Let me go back to my roots, which is well over 50 years ago. I lived in an alcoholic household, mother and stepfather. Suffered many years of physical violence and 6 years of incest that my mother and sister pushed me into to prevent my stepfather abuser from abusing them. I was totally undermined. I was not allowed to have a thought or a decision of my own. I was a total household and sexual slave. After 3 children and married to a man that I did not believe was an addict because I was going to be smarter, it turned out that we were always hungry because he was a gambler. The marriage broke up, the children went to foster homes, and I became a prostitute. Within a year and a half, I had opened a house and had women working for me throughout the 60s. I did very well, but I brought to prostitution these emotional problems from my childhood. During the years that I was making money and I did very well, I could not enjoy it to the degree I would have liked to because I was ridden by all these guilts. At one point, I decided it was the business's fault. I got out of the business and I spent 15 years dealing with my emotional pain in 12-step fellowships and incest survivor groups. During these years, my children and I were separated and they blame me for all of their problems now, and we have no contact. A few years ago, I divorced my mother and sister. My stepfather and I forgave each other before he died. My mother and sister and I have no contact. I totally disown them. They have pretended for 35 years that I was never born to cover their guilt. It took a lot of going within myself to find out that I was not the cause of this pain and these problems. I have come a long journey. In the 15 years since I quit the business, I studied to be a professional person. I am not a high school graduate and I never had a chance in this world. I have studied long and hard and then I tried to market myself. It's not easy for a woman past 50 to market herself with no money. So not quite a year ago, I got back in the sex industry without the guilt. I'm proud to be here. I'm happy to be here, and now I can pay my rent and afford to eat out once in a while. And I'm building a career and a future. The women who come to work for me, I choose, and I choose women who have a dignity and who have a lack of guilt about what they're doing. And we attract the kind of clients who don't beat up women, cheat them, or hurt them. So we have a happy little organization going, and we're all surviving quite nicely. Thank you very much.
How do you know they're happy? Excuse me,
This
how
is
do you
okay
know
with
they're
you,
happy?
huh?
I would like to know how she knows
just,
they're happy.
do you work in New York? Is this your
In the metropolitan area.
the metropolitan New York area? And is it an escort service, people?
No, it's all in-house. We feel safer that way. We protect
So
each
the
other.
John comes up the stairs in your place?
Yes.
And the girls, as I assume you call the women who work for you,
No straight sex. We're doing leather sex.
leather.
Yes.
You mean like S&M and that
Yes,
stuff?
right. No genital contact.
No genital
No
contact.
genital contact.
I see. So missionary position need not apply.
We turn them down every day.
So there is a market then for guys who want to be, with a collar around their neck.
Big market, very big.
And nobody gets hurt, and it's all
No, it's all
mutually
consensual. It's all worked out ahead of time. What is it you would like to do? What is
Right.
your fantasy? What is your fetish?
And in round numbers, the fee for one visit to your place might be
Somewhere between $150 and $300.
for about what length of time?
An hour.
An hour. I see.
Questions?
Well, my dear, will we look at the hands in the air now? And we'll give you all a chance to ask your own questions in just a moment.
To be part of the audience, please send a postcard to Donahue Tickets, care of NBC.
It's very deceptive. I just want to...
People must have very low self-esteem to do this, though. That's what I think. I don't know how anyone just like sell the body. I mean, you have to be really low to do it.
Because I thought I had the world in my pocket when I was in the business. It's very deceptive. I just want to say Prostitutes Anonymous is located, the headquarters in Van Nuys, California.
We'll be happy to give you that address before the program. I heard a lot about what's happened afterwards and stuff. What can you say to people that before they even start in a profession like this?
You can't stop someone. There's some people that may do this because they need some food and a place to stay for the night, and we can't butt into that.
The lady on the far right said that her people didn't have shame. I think maybe they just hide their shame well because it's a natural.
From the previous question and the young lady's answer about the legalized prostitution, before and during World War II in Hawaii, they did have legalized prostitution run by, and the girls were checked by the state. From a John's view, I approve of it.
But syphilis still ran rampant when they did that.
Hi, I'd like to know what your family thought about what you did.
My family was not really happy about what I did, but they're happy with me today, and that's all I know.
Yeah.
They're happy I'm on the show.
Do you like men now, or has this a...
Not really. Yes, I do. I'm married.
With healing, it does improve. I hated men. I wanted to kill them all when I first quit. Now I get along very well with them.
Yes.
To the madam, are you really happy with how you are now and your situation?
I'm very happy with my situation, and to address the gentleman in the back row before about hiding it. No, we have a support group within our group, and none of us is ashamed. We're all very proud. Most of these women have had regular 9-to-5 type jobs where they were subjected to sexual harassment and no income, very low income, and not able to move on with their lives. Now they are in control of their situation. They are earning more money for less hours, and we get together and talk about our problems in the business, and we're very proud as women to come out and take our place in society in control of our lives.
Do you believe if legalization were made possible, all of the sex industry in general will become happy little organizations like
No,
this?
because everybody brings their problems to whatever they do, whether you drive a cab or sell shoes, you bring your emotional problems to it. The sex industry is no different. There are people who are happy and there are people who are unhappy. What you do for a living has to do with your personal respect and dignity, whatever you do. And prostitution is
If
no
they
different.
legalized it, the price would drop and the pimps would take over. That's exactly
not
who's
true.
lobbying for a lot of the legalization.
No, that's not true.
I just want to say that I want to commend you for kicking your drug habit.
Yes.
I'd like to ask Wayne, since you're in recovery, have you established an average sort of social life?
I'm slowly beginning to try to deal with people, on the mainstream of life. It's kind of hard dealing with only a certain type of people. well, basically only prostitutes. That's all I've ever done all my life. So therefore, trying to deal with women on I guess on a normal basis, let's go to a show, let's eat dinner, you know what I mean? Like, so I try to look at TV and try to learn, what you normally do.
No one has addressed the AIDS crisis.
Yeah.
Could someone address that?
You know what? Heterosexuals not in prostitution have to deal with AIDS too. That's really not what this particular show is about. And a lot of prostitutes are getting false information about AIDS. A lot of prostitutes are addicted to it. They're just like ignoring it. Some prostitutes are going into what she talked about. They're getting more into dominance where they're not having to have sexual contact.
Right. A lot of guys won't have sex anymore.
Now there are many prostitutes
as in
that
traditional sex.
As in traditional sex.
As in exchange of body fluid.
Right, exactly.
So,
But there are prostitutes with
so we
AIDS.
shouldn't be surprised that this madam would be, I guess, proud of an establishment that provides sexual pleasure for people who quite literally may not even touch each other.
Oh, we do touch. We have to point out that there are prostitutes that know they have AIDS that are working.
I think it's
There
denial,
was a recent arrest in Las Vegas where they found 8 prostitutes having AIDS working that knew that they had it. And Vegas is just one of the cities where prostitution exists.
Sir.
Wayne, I just want to direct this towards you. I think it's wonderful that you're volunteering your time. Can you just tell me, what do you do as far as your source of income right now?
Well, I'm a source of income right now. I'm a student. I collect welfare, do odd jobs.
Collect welfare.
But he's not beating anybody up anymore.
Right.
He's not what?
He's not beating anybody up anymore and taking their money.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a miracle what he's doing.
Are you honest enough to tell us that physicality, pushing the girls around, is part of the pimp's job? Do I understand?
Well, see, it's more deeper than that. It's like they're addicted to the tricks. Pimps addicted to hoes. We're just addicted to them, and we thrive on it. I see them, like my blood starts boiling. I jump out the car. What's up, baby? You gotta
talk to them.
He does.
Living,
But not a few pimps have knocked the hookers around.
Beg pardon?
Knock them around.
Well, we don't always.
Do I tell a lie? Am I overstating it? Wayne, we're looking for the truth here. That's all you got to tell us.
Not all.
We occasionally hit them. Like, you see, it's not all the time.
Right, okay.
The nature of the pimp is to look for a vulnerable woman so he can continue the cycle of abuse that he suffered.
And we'll be back in just a moment.
If you don't get to sleep, I won't get to sleep.
Not all safely held with Power Pack. From
11225 Magnolia Boulevard, box 181. That address is North Hollywood, California, at 91601. Let's understand this here. You've heard the very heartfelt opinion of not a few guests who ought to know that sex can be an addiction. Or whether it's pornography, there are guys can't walk past a dirty bookstore.
No, there are men that will spend their rent money on those quarter movie houses, and they're sex addicts.
So when you read about some famous guy arrested for having somebody in his front seat, you understand him, don't you?
I'll give you an example. To do research and recovery for prostitution, I went to the other group that deals with the tricks. And I could not understand how it could be an addiction for them until one man said he picked up a prostitute. He saw the AIDS sore on her back. She said she had AIDS, and he could not stop himself from dating her that evening. They are just as hopelessly addicted as we are.
But there's also a great many clients who just need to go and relax and they entertain
come right
and
from
business.
the boardroom over to your place.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know
and they
that.
bring their clients with them.
And next thing you know, you'll be telling us you got talk show hosts out there at your clientele.
Don't be surprised.
Let me just call your attention to Sold Out. This is yours, right?
Yes, we all wrote that.
Here's a very serious effort to help young women who are prostitutes. And as you see, Wayne has already availed himself of this as a pimp. Recovery text for Prostitutes Anonymous. This young woman wanted to say, please.
I think that prostitution should absolutely be legalized. I think it'll be safer for all involved. I really respect what you're doing. I think there's a need for that also, but I think that chocolate, alcohol, many things are addictive. That's a different issue.
People don't kill themselves on chocolate.
They do too.
You know, I think you're an entrepreneur and you always will be, and I respect that. But at the same time, we're talking about this as if it's a problem for women only, and the women can't control themselves. They're sex addicts. There are men that come to these women, and there are also women that go to men. And this is a service industry, and there's a great demand for it.
Prostitutes.
What?
More than half of Prostitutes Anonymous are male prostitutes, heterosexual and homosexual. So this is a male and female issue.
I just like to say that this isn't an argument whether it should be legal or not legal. It's just what we're saying is we're here and she's there.
You'll forgive us for wanting to talk about it, though. I think it's an important issue. Yes, sir, wanted to say briefly.
Yeah, first of all, the madam, good job. People are back here saying that it's sick and stuff like that. If you don't want to see it and you don't want to be part of it, don't go. It's legitimate business.
Yes, sex is not sick. It's very healthy, and we should stop the repression and everybody learn to love and touch gently. It doesn't always have to be genital.
Oh, they got a dog collar.
It's not sex. She's beating
Not
people up for a
necessarily.
living.
Because of the high fees you commanded, were there ever Johns who insisted on unprotected sex?
You know what? I was such an addict, and for me, that's really why I quit the business. Is I knew that some man would offer me enough money to not wear a condom, and I knew I could not resist, which is why I had to get out of the way.
For the madam, I can understand why you took the course that you did because you had an unstable background. But what about the other three? Did you have unstable background also?
Many of them do, some of them don't. But understand that the women we're in a group now together earning money, are all professional women. Some of them are college graduates. Some are, excuse me, I was speaking. The women that are with me now are coming from professional careers and not earning enough money, and they're making the choice to do it.
Talking over. You wanted to say, madam.
That the women working with me now are by my choice. I don't have street hoes or sluts. I have women coming from the professional community who have made a conscious choice. Either they've been laid off from work or they're not making enough money or whatever. They want to be more creative. They want to make the transition from 9 to 5 and they need an income to support themselves with some extra time left over to take classes, workshops, or whatever.
Renee
and that's what we're creating for each other.
I wanted to say that because I thought she addressed the question to did you have an unstable background, not how much money did you want to make, was that I had a very unstable background. I had a very physically abusive father, and I'll make it real quick. The reason that I got into prostitution was to get back at my dad. Revenge.
Kathy and Wayne, what do you do for control now that you lost?
I'll give you a chance to answer that question in just a moment.
For a transcript of today's program, send $3 check or money order to Donahue Transcripts, 1535 Grand Street, Denver, Colorado, 80203, or call 303-831-9000.
Yes.
How often do you get tested for AIDS?
I assume you've been tested.
I used to get tested every 6 months after I quit, just for my own peace of mind, and thank God I passed.
Over here, please.
The second lady, and you said you lost your virginity as a prostitute.
Yeah.
Did you think of that as just business, or was it emotional as well?
I just wanted this lady over here.
Service is provided and promotional fees paid by the following.
At last, Alpine lace, fat-free, and low cholesterol.